Hello, it's Fran Davidson from psychicandenergywork.com.au, and this is my monthly update for September 2025. The monthly update always looks at the current month, halfway through the month, to just zone in on whatever themes seem to be playing through louder than usual, in the hope that maybe by sharing these thoughts, you'll be helped along your way and perhaps make better sense of things, or at least place them better. So this month's chart carries 8 fours, and I've touched on that in last month's monthly update, as well as this month's monthly observations, both in written form on the website, psychicandenergywork.com.au, as well as on YouTube in my videos. The reason why I want to zone in on it again is that 8 fours come this month together with 3 8s and 3 9s, and also only 4 1s. So in themselves, all of those dynamics mean particular things. I won't be running through that now. Together, though, they speak of a month that potentially sees people, or at least a few people, working through themes of support, and the fact that supports are moving or perhaps are more noticeably absent or lesser in volume or quality than they have been. The reason I say that again is that this month we only have 4 1s in the chart, and whenever you have a low 1 count, even though from 3 in any number above is still a noticeable theme, for the most part, for a long time now, most months have been or had 1 counts that are far higher than 4. 4 in itself as a tally doesn't mean anything, but relative to other numbers, particularly 2s, it can start to tell us things. 4 1s this month suggest that self could feature less in dynamics. In other words, you might find yourself being ignored or overridden, dismissed more than usual, or on a louder level for whatever level it is. Yeah? 1 can be a time that self matters, but also it can be a time when we discover how we are not actually living that dynamic. In other words, how we are not backing self, how we are not looking after self, or even how self through us or other people is devaluing self, dismissing self, mocking self even, simply because it's overly in its egoic boots. When you put that together with 8 4s, that starts to tell us something, because 4, as I've mentioned in monthly updates last month and observations this month, 4 speaks of frameworks, foundations, the way that we are structuring things perceptually, as forecasts, as expectations, assumptions, models. And whilst I've talked a lot about that, what I haven't honed in on is the fact that implicit in that can be the level of support, the frameworks around us that is coming from other people, or even that which we give to other people or offer other people. So because 8 4s, as I've mentioned elsewhere, can speak of tsunami, in other words, wipeout. That doesn't necessarily mean physical world wipeouts, even though that can happen, of course, but spiritual, invisible, mental, emotional wipeouts. When it operates on that level, the 4, it comes to help us come back to, for want of a better way of saying it, come back to ground zero to build again. The wipeout on a spiritual level is there to level the landscape, so that we build afresh, so that we, in doing that, choose the frameworks, the tools, the methods, the gadgets, even the people, the levels of support that are actually needed now, given all that we've come to, given who we are now and what we're learning even now. All of those things, it helps us choose them afresh and rebuild with current, valid, relevant, and ideally more spiritual frameworks, methods, tools, approaches, etc. So because of this, it is more than possible that your September this year so far has seen, again, a level of lack of support that is louder than usual. And whenever that happens in a surprising way, it is very easy to feel hurt by that. It is very easy to get hooked into that. It is very easy, again, to forget that, hello, life is only bringing this to help you rebirth, to help you reboot, to help you get rid of things that maybe you've carried or entertained or even contributed towards that actually haven't been truth in the hindsight that you have now, that actually haven't been truthful or honest or all that they can be. 4 can be, therefore, quite a shocking time, not necessarily because you weren't aware of the dynamic or didn't have a sense of it, but just because it's happening so loudly, so obviously, and therefore so unavoidably. You have no choice. There is no choice. You've just got to suck it up. You've just got to run with it. Now, those words, suck it up, doesn't mean make like victim, because no dynamic comes to move us into that vibration. It's only our perceptions and our assumptions, our models, that make us victim, and the degree to which we sit in that too long. Inevitably, whenever surprises come our way, we will inevitably hold them, catch them, a bit like somebody throwing a ball at you. You'll catch it. Why? To just stop it from hitting you. The energy that comes at you, you'll catch to begin with. But often in these moments, especially when they're loud, we will forget to let that energy go to even understand what it's really about in a big picture, spiritual, everybody wins sort of way, and also everybody contributes sort of way. Now, 4 is closely aligned with 8. It's also closely aligned with 7, but 7s don't feature so loudly right now. 8 can be the vision. Therefore, it can be the time that helps us tighten our vision. It helps us understand what's really required to deliver to that vision. So do you see, based on what I was saying about 4 before, how 4 and 8 relate? In other words, 4 comes along to help us do a review, to help us quality check, even if we don't feel we have an option in that. 4 is the report card, the audit, the check that goes, you know what, that's faulty, that's not what it was, that's never been what you thought it was. Or whatever those words are. So assumptions, again, and perceptions in a high 4 month can very much wobble, crumble, be shown to be what they are in a way that really does liberate you once you've digested that truth. 8, therefore, and through that 4 process, of course, assuming that we're processing things on a spiritual level and therefore allowing our intuition, our guidance to inform us as to why is this happening? What is my role in it? What is the reflection for me? As well as just why is everybody behaving like that, or why is life doing this right now? By positioning with huge change in that fashion, we start to understand, we start to create the space to allow the universe to deliver the insights and the explanations that then energize, place everything, and of course empower us to use that information and that learning in a positive, constructive way moving forward. So 4s, through the crumbling of supports, irrespective of what they are, mental, psychological, again, perceptual, assumption level model, frameworks, or even the support we get from people around us, as we usually do, or as it really is. Through that, life helps us say, you know what, that as an ingredient isn't helping me cook the right recipe. It's not actually contributing to what I know is possible and what I have always known as possible, be that a physical world or material outcome, or even be it a certain level of spirituality or way of living, code, ethic. And of course, codes and ethics are very definitely part of the 4 vibration as well. So really this video is trying to help you place anything that's come at you in high volume or a sudden shock over these last few weeks. Rest assured, life does not deliver these things just to destroy or just to dismiss the individual or devalue. It can always feel like that to begin with, simply because it's such a shock. And yet these things only come in a way that, in one sense, it's a bit like a shattering of a mirror. It's quick. It is effective. The shattering happens and there is no way around it. We love that in hindsight once we've made sense of it. But whilst it's happening, it can be very difficult to run with, to work with, to accept and to fathom. So in short, how do you help yourself through this? Obviously, take time out to process whatever you are. Take time out in a way that you really are letting everything go, everything you love, everything you don't. Not because you're rejecting things on a behavioural action level, physical world level, but because you're doing that on an energetic level. Let it go. The more we let it go, the more we create the space for the universe to drop in and go, this is the picture you're in. Let me help you understand and let me give you explanations, guidance as to how to power through that, and also information about your spiritual development. So know too that for all I've said about fours that could sound negative or just the pessimistic version, all of this comes, again, to help us build positively, constructively, collectively well, and considerately moving forward. In doing that, especially in periods like today, the job isn't to place your focus on what's happening around you. That doesn't mean ignore it. That doesn't mean call it something that it is not. But it is about, take stock of it. But at the end of the day, you help the world become the world it is going to be simply by focusing on what you have to do. That doesn't mean wear blinkers. It doesn't mean don't play a part in the outer world, but it does mean anchor in your spiritual guidance, anchor in your sense of what's going on for you and what you need to do with it, having, first of all, connected to spiritual guidance. Because the more you can do that from the perspective of, I am very clear, not on an egoic level, but on a spiritual level. I am very, very clear about what I need to do with this, even if I change my perspective again tomorrow. I am present, I am grounded, I am clear of the egoic realm as much as I can be, and the only desire I have is to move forward in a way that harbours and manifests peace and win-win. Good luck to you for the rest of September. You will make it. You are making it. Difficulty means you're making it, and difficulty means you're on the way through to much, much better times because you're living what you are. Take good care. Contact if you need a hand. My details are on the website, psychicandenergywork.com.au. And thank you very much for tuning in. Speak soon. Take care.